Sal, at this point, you are essentially the Phineas J. Whoopi of exposing NYPD schemes. Every week, it's another one, and you've done it again. You have now broken the story of this NYPD chief, Richie Taylor, who had a scheme for stealing time. Explain to us exactly what it is that you've uncovered and what's happening as a result and what the possible implications of it are.
Well, thanks for everyone for being here yet again on External Affairs. We should be streaming on X and YouTube all over, multiple accounts, trying to beat back the social engineering. So we've been on the Sal Greco show for quite a while. It came to our attention this Richie Taylor was running a scheme where guy wasn't signing in. Nobody knows where he was. He has 2 take-home cars. And apparently he's not even in the country when he should be working. He also had to fly over his daughter's home.
Wait a minute, where is he? Not in the country.
He's not in the country. He goes to Israel. He goes to, he could be on vacations, the unofficial vacations. He's just not in the country. So,
wow.
Yeah. So, he also had to fly over. Now, just so you know, a helicopter fly over someone's home is a special request. You know, it costs taxpayers thousands of dollars for the police department to be flying that helicopter to begin with. He had to fly over with his daughter's birthday, which is insane that happened. So, and this is all allegations.
What do you mean? Just like a gag to be like, ooh, hey, there's a helicopter?
Yeah, like for a birthday.
Instead of a magician or Ronald McDonald, he had a
you go look up and there's an NYPD helicopter flying over, which that costs taxpayers money. You need approval. And I could tell you that he didn't get the proper approvals in the beginning, but somehow it happened anyway. So he's very powerful guy somehow. So these allegations keep coming forward, and it's a little bit of a mess because the story goes back many years prior. He used to be in the 61st precinct. And he went to Coney Island, which was a place I worked at the time. He went to I guess the election, a place that had, they were doing the elections, the place that was in the voting booths. He went there to go collect or look at the numbers of votes. He went there because he was trying to curry favor with, at the time, Councilman Chaim Deutsch. Chaim Deutsch did not tell him to do this. He did it on his own volition because this is what this guy does. Someone spotted a gun on him. You cannot do this. You can't be near the polls with a gun. You can't be doing this stuff. There it is. He got interrogated for this whole mess. It caused a big scene. People called this and said, who is this guy? So the commanding officer of the 60th precinct only gave him administratively transferred. He should have been charged with a misdemeanor and terminated then. So this isn't the first rodeo for him. He escaped that little hole. And then he's a lieutenant. He gets promoted to captain. He takes a test. And then from captain, it's rocket fuel straight to deputy chief, where he's always hanging out in community affairs. This guy has never been a commanding officer of a precinct. He never had to do traffic stat. He never had to do comp stat. He never had to do anything that everyone else who pays their dues to get all the way up the ranks to chief.
Now, so the allegations isn't community affairs where I'm always having the run-ins.
You're always having problems, yes.
And Crackhead Barney and all them.
You're always having problems with a unit that apparently he's a part of, that even in the unit, nobody knows what he's doing. He's just no one. He doesn't have
Levi. Isn't Oren Levi closely associated with community affairs?
I would say, yeah, he does run into those guys, but I don't even know if he knows this guy. Because this guy is very insulated where, like, he has a relationship, or the person that is alleged to have continued to keep this guy from any real harm is Devorah Halberstam, who, if you remember, and this does not have anything to do with what is actually happened. Her son is the person that's named on the Brooklyn Bridge. There was I believe he was murdered. It was a brutal thing, and I understand that part. And Everyone should be sympathetic for that. She's also one of the curators, or she's associated with the Jewish Museum, right? So she's a prominent person. She's an activist, but you can't mistake that part of what I just said, with letting this guy run rampant and calling in favors and doing all kinds of things. She's politically
Now,
connected.
Hang on a second, Sal. I got to stop you.
Yeah,
Whenever I see this political
I know.
activist,
I know.
that's like a code word for this person is, what's the word of the day? Social engineer. Political activist. This is some kind of operative. Like, that's a very broad, somebody tells you, oh, I'm an NYPD police officer. I'm a plumber. I'm a doctor. I'm a lawyer. You know what that is. Political activist. What the hell is that? Because what you're describing sounds to me, I'm going to get heat for this. I am Jewish. This sounds like the Jewish mafia to me. This guy's going to Israel. He's doing all kinds of crimes with it. I mean, am I right?
There's been plenty of allegations in regards to what you're saying. It seems like that, but I can't tell you this. I can't go down that road. I don't know what kind of evidence is. I know he alienates. So the question is, he is like a liaison to the Jewish community. So there are some who believe him and want to, contact him for things. And then there's the other half that absolutely despise him because he's been an empty suit. He comes there, takes a photo op, and he's gone. That's his whole MO. So this woman has been behind him for a very long time, meaning if he gets into trouble, you're going to hear from this person. That's been the allegation for a long time. Then there is Joel Eisendorfer, who was an advisor to Eric Adams. Who is he? He's a lobbyist. He's another powerful guy. And the allegation was not only is this guy behind him, currying favors for him behind the scenes, it was Richie Taylor who was personally driving Joel in the second unmarked car he shouldn't have had from City Hall. He's the one guy in the NYPD who has an unmarked vehicle because he's a chief from Community Affairs, and then he has another vehicle from City Hall. That's unprecedented, and it was only taken away after the soccer mom learned of it. But this was going on for quite a while. And there's also allegations of bribes. How far did they take this? I don't know. Eisendorfer there, he ended up leaving the Adams administration, right? But Devora is still very powerful, very powerful. Forget about in the ecosystem of New York City, she's powerful. She's just a powerful person. And I don't even know how this happened because she's not a cop. And it's like, how do you tell people, lay off this guy? I don't know. But this is where people can't get confused because we have the same issue with another guy, Tim Pearson, who on 9/11, he was there. He was in the Twin Towers, Tim Pearson. And there's a lot that he did. But you can't conflate that with I've lost count how many sexual harassment lawsuits he's involved in for New York City while he came back to work for under Eric Adams. And it was just a mess. Where's my crumbs? So don't put one with the other. Hero for the day means what? You could get away with this stuff. And same thing here where she was a victim. Unfortunately, it was a whole big thing that happened. But why are you backing this guy over and over and over again? And this guy should be criminally charged, not once now, but this time. So he admitted, because they gave him departmental charges, he admitted to a bunch of hours that he was taking that he didn't sign in. But the actual number is a lot larger than what they are saying, because obviously, as you know, the internal affairs is really the cover-up of the NYPD. They catch things and then they're going to selectively enforce things or selectively say, well, it was not 5 hours. It was really one. That's what we found. No. This has been going on at least for a couple of years. Definitely under Eric Adams. He was an untouchable under Eric Adams. So there was all kinds of mishigots going on with him under Eric Adams. So all of this has led to one question. He was transferred administratively for now it's the second time in his career to Criminal Justice Bureau. And I said a video this morning because, I got sources everywhere. He showed up yesterday. First of all, Thursday, he was supposed to allegedly have put in his paperwork at the pension section and retire. Apparently, he either pulled it or he told them don't put it in because the next day he shows up to work on the sixth floor, One Police Plaza, which is the Criminal Justice Bureau, where the Criminal Justice Bureau chief that outranks him, because she's the 2-star, Ebony Washington, read him the riot act and informed him. And this is all according to source, by the way. And I got really good ones, as you know. They told him, you have a desk. You ought to stay at this desk. The only thing you could do is ask permission to leave this building. You are not to leave this building unless you're ordered to leave the building. There's also a take-home car they're looking at. I don't know if he still has his take-home car or not. I think he's driving around in his regular car now.
So hang on,
because everything has to be monitored, as you know.
Give us a little perspective here on this. So this guy is a chief who they now have basically given a desk assignment. I mean, this sounds like some pretty strict punishment within the NYPD. I mean, as far as falling short of actual criminal prosecution, does it get much stricter than this?
Okay, so what had happened is, and I'll get back to what I was trying to say with her. She told him that he's got to stay at the desk and do all these things, and you're not allowed to leave, and you got to let them know, and there's cameras everywhere, and he has Friday and Saturday off. That was his 2 days off.
Because he's a religious Jewish person.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's the reason or they just said Friday, Saturday off. So he's got to go there on Sunday when there's no one in the building. Or there's very little staff with that. Oh, that's going to be an adventure. But as far as the actual criminal charges, not too long ago, there was a guy, his name is Thomas Fabrizi. He was a lieutenant. They said that he stole overtime and misused the vehicle. And they charged him. So you're saying to yourself, why is he not being criminally charged? I'll tell you why. So Internal Affairs, again, I got good sources. Internal Affairs did refer his prosecution to the Manhattan DA's office. And then someone, where we don't know who this is yet, or a collection of people on the behalf of Richie Taylor, got the Manhattan DA to back off of criminally charging him because this, Jason, is grand larceny. It's not law, it's nothing, it's all little thing. We're talking about not signing in, what were the numbers? 300 times he didn't sign in and 400 times he was off post. That's over a year's worth right there.
What do you mean not signing in? Like he's
300 times he's not signed in. He's not signed in. Nobody knows where he is.
No show job at the end.
But he's getting paid. Can't do that.
So what does this guy actually do? I mean, don't people... But so this is amazing, Sal. This is another case, and this is why I say, you've done it again. It's like this is another case where, they're now reporting this. Daily News is reporting this. They got this from you, right?
Yeah, they were and I'll tell you another thing. Yesterday, and he went crazy saying he's going to go to the media. There's a lot of things that he knows about. He mentioned that everyone knew what he was doing. He started throwing names around. And also, he's very upset that the Daily News wrote about his misfortunes. Because this made this mainstream where it was, they were trying to keep this quiet, right?
Right.
And now it's mainstream, and now he went berserk over that. And that's what he's really upset about, is that. And I don't know what's going to happen with this because, again, he should be criminally prosecuted. Everyone is screaming. People, you understand this too. People who were charged for these kind of infractions from the NYPD.
Right.
You now have a case because you were terminated or you were charged criminally. Why is he being treated different? And again, the two people, the names that keep coming up were the names I mentioned with Devora and Eisendorfer, right? Those two people seem to be these little two angels on his shoulders because they've guarded him for quite a while, and he's an untouchable guy. Where everyone else, if anyone else does this, you will be not only ostracized, you're probably going to lose your job and go to jail because that seems to be the MO.
Now,
But not with Richie Taylor.
Let me just share something with you, Sal, because I want to make sure that people understand that nobody else is reporting this kind of stuff, right? Sal has got these sources and his background and his knowledge of the NYPD. You really are becoming this unique force for exposing corruption within the NYPD. I got to encourage people to visit thesalgreco.substack.com and support Sal's journalism here. We're going to be doing a sponsor exclusive segment in just about 10 minutes. And you're going to get it over there on thesalgreco.substack.com. Of course, subscribers on Crowdsource, thetruth.substack.com and subscribestar.com and patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth will also get that. Sal, I'm going to share something with you, but we'll go in depth on the sponsor exclusive segment. You mentioned that this Devorah Halberstam is involved with the Jewish Children's Museum. Obviously, that's a 501c3 nonprofit. She's the grant director there. So that means she's in control of a lot of money that this thing gives out as grants. She seems to earn a lot more money than the other people who are working there, $250,000 a year. We're going to take a look at where those grants are going, how much money this thing controls. I don't know what's going on at the Jewish Children's Museum. I guess children like museums. They can have Jewish stuff at the museum, whatever they want, but they got $2.7 million over there. And obviously, if you need to send around some tax-exempt funds, these 501c3 nonprofits, not just the Jewish Children's Museum, I don't know what's going on there. Maybe it's totally on the up and up. But a lot of these things seem to be able to do a lot of stuff with money and avoid any kind of scrutiny at all.
I have heard this rumor. I haven't looked into everything yet in regards to what is going on at this museum and Devorah Halberstam herself. I am going off for right now where Richie Taylor has led. And just so people understand, there's also another thing they're missing here, and I just got this from someone. So in the NYPD, all captains and above must submit weekly and signed timesheets affirmed under penalty of law that's truthful. So then there's an extra charge because apparently if he didn't do that, that would be perjury, correct?
Just not signing in and collecting the money. Well, I guess if he didn't sign it, that might be, I don't know.
But he's not even in the vicinity. He's not there. And last night, the Jewish Museum had this, the Jewish Children's Museum had a dinner, like their gala, and Mr. Taylor didn't show up till well after everything, the festivities were over after 10 p.m. He was physically there in a suit. He wasn't in uniform. There was no hoopla for him. The night prior, I understand, there was a Pakistani event, Pakistani community. We're trying to honor him, and he no-showed that as well, and he called on the phone, I believe, and the only NYPD personnel that were there were off-duty or in a suit. They were executives. There was no one in uniform because they were honoring a guy that just admitted that he was stealing time. It's Jason, anyone else in this circumstance would be just destroyed. I mean, Thomas Fabrizi, his name, everyone now out there is saying, how can you treat two different people differently for the same infraction that you're alleging? And it's a lot more. They wrote that it's anywhere between 20 to 170,000. First of all, he's going to give that money back. I mean, how? How do you get that money back? What do you have? You have all that money laying around somewhere, or were you doing payments?
Because, probably spent it.
Wait, you took this money and whatever. I mean, this is the kind of stuff you got to think. In the real world, if you did this, they call this embezzling, and then you'd still have to go to prison because that's saying, well, you embezzled money, made money with it. Oh, but you have extra money laying around somewhere, so you have no problem giving the money that you used to embezzle back. That's kind of the campaign finance charges you see on people that get caught up with the political campaigns, like Eric Adams, for one. So what's really going on here? I'm sure that there's more. And there it is. There was the dinner. May 14th was last night. He showed up at 10 p.m. So
unbelievable.
And it was big money here too. I saw the $800 just to get a plate in this place. And you can see that the participants in this.
To the 501.
And again, I understand, where this comes from, because it comes from a good place in your heart and a good cause. But this woman has a lot of sway, especially in the political sphere when it comes to this guy. And you got to wonder, why is this person so attached to this one guy? Because he should have been in trouble multiple times. And why isn't he in trouble? Like, why is he not terminated right now? Jason, under any circumstances, he would be suspended, definitely transferred, which he is, and terminated. There is no, just right now it's up, because he already signed off, I believe, on these 60-day and a year, what they said. He's on dismissal probation, but he could be terminated by the police commissioner. And at this point, if you look in the ecosystem here in the sphere, she's the only person that pretty much has more say than anyone, whether it be through that community or the fact that she's a police commissioner. No one's going to tell her what to do because she's worth billions of dollars. So this is the right thing to do here, is to terminate him and then refer to criminal charges. I don't care who called. You're definitely treating this differently than anyone else. And everyone's wondering why. Now he's threatening people. He's going to go to media. He's going to talk about why, all this stuff. So this is a Megillah, Jason. We had one a few weeks ago. This is a Megillah. It's becoming a mess, and we don't know where the road leads. But I can tell you, your good guess would be the former mayor of New York City either has a part in this, or there's some part that leads back to him and something he probably said and allowed to happen. Why? Because it's happened so many other times already in the last few years. So that would be my prediction, is that there's going to be something that leads back to Eric Adams said XYZ, so it was allowed, even though it shouldn't have been, because he's a cop. Only the police commissioner has a say. The mayor can't tell you what to do in the police department. He has to tell the police commissioner who's in charge. Okay. Where there's no, because it seems that everyone else, there's a rank and a structure, and then there's this guy who's just a little above or at the same level as a police commissioner. Why is that, Jason? That really is mind-boggling. By the way, you never saw him out there when you were out there with Community Affairs. I'm sure you've never seen him.
I don't think so. I don't recognize him before you.
You're muted.
Am I? Oh, sorry. There you go.
Yeah.
Now you should.
Have you ever seen him out?
I have not seen that guy, that, as far as I'm aware, no.
Okay. Because he shows up like he was there with this protest that happened the other day, where you saw arrest happening. It was chiefs arresting people. 2-star chiefs. They're actually one rank above him.
Why are they doing that?
It was a rowdy scene the other night. And at the, where was that? In Brooklyn and Midwood, right? So Richie Taylor showed up. He did. He had his little photo op. He says hello. And then the minute things got rough, Jason, he was gone. And no one knows if he was told not to go there, but showed up anyway. And then, of course, when the going gets rough, he's out of there. So that was another thing that happened recently. And there's a whole bunch of things, but he's never there when the going gets rough. Him or anyone that is supposed to be in his personnel. We don't know, because there's more questions than answers with this guy. But he's in Community Affairs, Jason. And yeah, you've never seen him.
Well, and so, but you're saying he's there at this, he's photographed there and then he's gone. I mean, I just feel like so many of these things are staged for some kind of political purpose. And then really the biggest issue here, Sal, is this matter of sort of selective prosecution, unequal application of the rules. So listen, we got a lot of stuff to look at in depth here. I want to look at some of the grants and some of the details of what's going on with this nonprofit. So people are going to be able to join us on the sponsor exclusive segment coming up right now. People can watch that on thesalgreco.substack.com, on crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com, and also on subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth, patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. For some reason, we missed the live on the Sal Greco YouTube channel, but people have been watching us live on X at the Sal Greco. People can also go to salgreco.com, support you there, get a hairbag, shirt. There's all kinds of things people can do. What else do we want to tell people, Sal, before we wrap it up?
Well, you could go to salgreco.com, and right there you can support the show. We're like sponsored by the people. So that's how you can sponsor us there and help us grow. And also go and get the hairbag shirt and also read our articles.
Yeah, this is why the show is called External Affairs. You're doing what internal affairs should be doing, and even more effectively from the outside. So stay with us, everybody. We'll be right back.